On
On
February
February
9th, Huda, a Muslim teenage girl, was brutally beaten and had her hijab ripped off at Otago Girls High School. Huda and her Muslim friends were asked by a group of three non-Muslim individuals to teach them Arabic swearing words. They refused, which resulted in a violent fight. Even after the fight finished, the attackers' violence was still present. They spat and pulled a finger at the Muslim girls, and they yelled out profanities, words such as terrorists and other racially motivated words. Joining me on the line is activist from New Zealand, Rama Awad, to talk about this and starting the petition Justice for Huda. Assalamu alaikum, Rama, and shukran for joining me. Rama, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, now this is not the first Islamophobic incident to happen in New Zealand in particular. What happened? Can you shed some light that on the incident? I know I just touched on it a bit, but please shed some light on it that
Yeah.
inspired you to start the Justice for Huda campaign.
Yeah. Huda last year also received the same violence from a different attackers at her school. Similar things. They they yelled out racially motivated words at them, similar like terrorist and other words. But also back in 2019, the Christchurch attack that took place. It was a huge thing in New Zealand, and I'm sure everyone have heard about it. 55 people died in the mosque when an attacker came in and killed them. So there's also another stories that happened here in New Zealand and Islamophobic acts that happens to Muslim individuals, but this is the major ones that the public knows about.
Especially since we've been seeing incidences of the hijab ban in Europe and more recently in
Yes.
India, and now
Yeah.
we see this with Huda and her friends. Now,
Yeah.
how does Islamophobia negatively affect people?
So in here in New Zealand, it's not, the majority are not Muslims. So obviously not everyone shares the same ideas, and the influence of media and all the stereotypes that we see happening really influences people here. So for a few people to be in New Zealand, for a few Muslim people to be in New Zealand, it's quite normalized. And these incidents happen quite often. But because New Zealand is labeled as not a racist country, obviously these incidents don't go recognized. So we can only see a few of them. And the one was the Christchurch attack and Huda's story.
Now, have you experienced Islamophobia of any kind?
Yes, I have. And I think if you ask any Muslim, especially Muslim women, you will definitely get that answer. We were walking down the street and someone said, "I hope you don't have a bomb." Me and my friends were walking, and we had another incident when someone was in their car and they pulled the finger and said swearing words, and they sweared at the hijab. That was our first time being in New Zealand, our very first experience when someone was in their car, pulled the finger at us. And obviously my sister also experienced some stuff for job interviews. When she applies and everything online, it's all good, but when they see her in person wearing the hijab, they switch up and reject her. Yeah.
Wow. And how does that make you feel, when people point a middle finger at you or make racial remarks?
Yeah, it makes us very upset, especially that we're not doing anything to anyone, we're not harming anyone. Just knowing that there are people out there that just assume and listen to the stereotypes in the media, it makes us very sad that not everyone is like that and all these stereotypes are not correct. Yeah, it makes us very sad. And at the same time, like when these incidents happened, and like for me, like I just froze right in the moment because I'm uncertain to how to react to that. But it's very, very heartbreaking.
It is now, you sharing your stories, and we have experienced Islamophobia as well.
Of course,
Although
yeah.
we can say that it's a thing that is more common in the New Zealands or the Europes or the USAs, but
Mm-hmm.
I I think now that you've mentioned it, I have
Yeah,
also experienced some form of Islamophobia,
yeah, of course,
and
yeah,
it's funny because,
yeah.
like you said, you're not harming anyone. You're just minding your own business. You're doing your own thing, and you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
live your best life for the sake and pleasure of the creator. And there goes
Of
someone
course,
telling you this
of
and that,
course.
and then
Yeah,
proceeding to attack
yeah.
you.
And even if no one yelled at us or said it out loud, we can always feel the vibe of people. We can
Mhm.
feel the energy. We can feel that we're unique. We're wearing the hijab. We're Muslim, so people stay away a little bit from us. So we can always feel that, even if it wasn't spoken.
Mm. Now,
Yeah.
what happens when stereotypes and prejudice go unchecked?
Um, a lot of like in here in New Zealand, not a lot of awareness is raised about racism and Islamophobia. Um, so that's why a lot of people have a general idea that, oh, New Zealand is a not a racist country. We're all welcome and everything. This is a result of um, not talking and not recognizing all the racism that goes unnoticed and Islamophobia. So New Zealand is an example of this, to be honest. Um, uh, uh, like an example like this and incidents like that.
Hmm. Yeah, no, there's a lot that needs to be done,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to
yeah,
stereotypes. When you made the bomb comment, it's like, oh my God, I literally rolled my eyes because of like, here we go again. It's always the bomb comment under the hijab. And no, there's no bomb. And yes, we do have hair.
yes, I know. And some even call us towel heads. It's quite funny. Where did they make these names up? But it's really sad. It's
Uh,
very upsetting and sad.
it, it is. Now, it has been reported that two
Hmm.
out of the three have been expelled, and the third one receiving counseling. Do you think that this was a fair judgment?
Personally, no, because if
Mhm.
the third girl was involved in it, and they think that I think she was just filming only, that's why she went to counseling. But even with that, she was still involved, and she was still friends with these people. So she deserves to be expelled like them. So we think it's unfair. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
All right. And what do you think is would be a fair punishment going forward for all three of the girls, besides being expelled from the school?
Um,
Because I feel like
yeah,
even if they're expelled, they can still continue this type of behavior elsewhere.
of course, and they have done it multiple times. I think that because now they've been referred to um, the school the police has referred them to the youth justice system, youth aid.
Mhm.
We personally don't think that this will do much, because they said that they will be working with them closely and everything, but we think that they deserve to be um, like they should be held accountable in another way, not just to get expelled. So getting to be honest, like this is just a bit sad. Well, not sad because they kind of deserve it. Well, to be arrested
Mhm.
because their action they've done multiple times, so they deserve that.
Mhm. And what about the school? Do you think that the school is doing enough to support the victims?
No, they said that they will be counseling is available in the school and everything, but we don't think that's enough. We don't think that like this will help much for Huda and her friends to go to counseling and just to forget about it, because this is not as an easy. We want them to change their policies, and we want them to listen to their students, not only for Muslim students but to all of their students, and to all in New Zealand schools, to listen to their students and to look closely at bullying because it's often ignored. Well, majority of the time it is ignored.
And what has this incident taught you?
Um, it's it it really empowered me. Knowing that this could have happened to me or to my sister or to anyone else that I know. It really taught me to stand up and speak up about an issue like this because we don't want this to repeat again. We don't want any of that to happen again. Um, yeah.
And the petition hashtag Justice for Huda has gained a lot of the signatures, and including influencers and celebrities as well. Now, what can the rest of us do to help?
So we have set a template to let it to the MP, the local MP, and to the minister. We asked people to do that. And we would like people to raise awareness as much as they can, and we want them to speak up if they see any type of discrimination happening to anyone, bullying, Islamophobia, and all of these things along the line. But signing the petition was very strong, so that was like really good already.
All right. What is your advice going forward to our listeners, to our viewers, anyone who have been
Yeah,
in a similar situation as
yeah.
yours and that of Huda's?
Yeah, I would like to say that we hear you and we feel you, and we will stand with you. And we want people to know about your stories, and we want all this bullying and racism and discrimination to stop. So this whole movement was to spark attention about these people, not only for Huda. So we want to say that we're with you, we're standing with you, and we hear you.
All right,
And we would
Ramash.
also like to stay
Mhm.
strong
Yeah.
and always be proud of who you are and your identity, whether you're Muslim or any other religion or from any culture. Always be strong and don't let these kind of incidents bring you down. You should be more proud and more strong because of this situation.
All right, Huda. Sorry, Rama.
That's fine.
Shukran so much for your time and for sharing that with us. If there's any way that people can help, is there a link that we can click onto? How do we find it?
We have the link in our Instagram account, Justice for Huda, Justice underscore for underscore Huda. You can find that there. But even if you just search up Justice for Huda petition, if you could please sign this, it will be amazing. We have already reached 75,000 signatures. We would like to keep going with that petition. And there's a letter to the MPs in Minster, and you can be all around the world, and you can send it to them.
Okay, fantastic.
Awesome.
Okay, shukran so much for your time and for sharing that with us. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate talking to you about this.
All right, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Right, as you heard from Rama Awad, an activist from New Zealand who started the petition hashtag Justice for Huda after Huda was attacked, she and her friends. As the story goes, the Muslim girls were verbally harassed and physically abused by the attackers. However, Huda was the one who received the most violence. She was hit on her head, face, neck, and shoulders, causing serious injuries, including a concussion. Huda was later rushed to the hospital by her dad as the ambulance wasn't called. And even after the fight finished, the attackers' violence was still present. They spat and pulled the finger at the Muslim girls. They yelled out Muslim terrorists and other racially motivated words. Unfortunately, this is not a new experience as for a new experience for the Muslim girls in Otago Girls High School. Last year, different attackers accused the Muslim girls of being terrorists and were also verbally harassed. However, the harassment was in Arabic. So you can see they went to the extent of learning vile words in a different language. Later, a complaint report was written to the school by the Muslim girl's parents, but no response was given and no action was taken to stop these Islamophobic attacks. We must not keep letting this happen any longer. The school is not showing any support to the Muslim girls. Otago Girls High School principal Bridget Davidson decided to not comment on the Islamophobia, violent behaviors, threats, bullying, discrimination, and the racism the attackers had caused. In 2022, there is no room left for hatred and bigotry. In 2022, schools must take responsibility for addressing bullying and racially charged verbal and physical abuse, or any abuse for that matter. We demand that this incident be addressed by Otago Girls High School. Let's stand together to bring justice for Huda and other Muslim girls who were also attacked. And if you want to know more, if you want to know how you can sign the petition, you can just search Justice for Huda on social media platforms and leave your mark there. Put your signature and share it with your friends and family as well. Hashtag Justice for Huda. You are listening to the Mid Morning Talk on Salam Media. We will be right back.